Welcome to Ask Me How I Know, multifamily real estate investing stories of struggle to success, where each week unscripted interviews with guests bring a fresh perspective to problem solving in the multifamily niche as well as feed your mindset. Success stories are great, but everyone knows the important part of the story, the part between the struggles of starting and arriving, and it often gets left out. Ask Me How I Know is like the back house of a restaurant. Pass through the prim and proper front of the house and join us in the harmonious chaos of the back of the house where honest, unscripted conversations take place and transformation happens. In life and investing, there are no shortages of wild scenarios, so no matter where you are in your investment journey, this podcast is for you. There is no pomp and fanfare here, just endless opportunity to build your investing and mindset playbooks. This is your retreat to breathe, build, and laugh. Welcome to Ask Me How I Know. I'm Julie Holly, and I'm happy you're here. Welcome back to Ask Me How I Know. Today we have one of the most gregarious, fun people I have ever met. And I've met a lot of people, and I love people and everything, but can't you even see? You can see. So Leonard Nesmith is here with me today, and we have this really fun story. I love how we met. But I'm surprised. I'm going to tell this brief story, but I'm surprised that you were not the one that actually came up to our table, because knowing you now, so we were at Rod Cleef's boot camp, multifamily boot camp down in LA back in January of 2020. And my husband and I are sitting at a table, and I happened to make this a practice. And I think everybody should adopt this practice, because then you meet these awesome people. So we're sitting there, and I see, Leonard sitting at a table by himself doing his thing. And, you kind of know who's there, and you're looking at name tags, or, you could just sense.
Right,
I could
right.
sense that you were part of our organization. And I'm like, hey, you want to come have breakfast with us? And the rest is history now.
Yes, absolutely. And it was a beautiful, you and your husband, just some amazing people. I actually thank you for the invite to come and not be bored at my own table, to come and actually meet and connect with two of the by far fantastic people I met while I was in LA.
Oh my gosh, it was so fun. It really got me into thinking. And so Leonard and I, sent some messages back and forth, and we've, had a
Mhm.
couple phone calls. And, one of the things that has come up is you have to put yourself out there in life.
Mhm.
And so you can't just expect something to just kerplop on your lap. And there are a lot of people that are just out there that are dreamers and not doers. And we got to rise to the occasion and actually get our boots a blue muddy and everything.
Yes,
And so
yes.
thinking about that, I was thinking, hey, I put myself out there and went up. And most of you are like, oh, well, Julie, you're an extrovert. That's natural for you. I can't do that. Yes, you can. So,
Yes.
but I put myself out there, but then you did too. It wasn't just
Mhm.
me. You put yourself out there and sure, I'm going to join y'all for breakfast.
Absolutely.
And magic
Absolutely. And
happens. What do you think?
it just happens like that. You use the word in there, can't, right?
Oh, I
What
hate
other
that word.
people can, they already defeated themselves, right? They
Amen.
already said, nope, not happening. No way in the world it can happen. Not giving it a chance to see who the other person is. And it really doesn't matter, because it's who you are and what you want to do, right? And I was
Amen.
just so grateful and thankful for, because at the end of the day, you have kids, right? And
Yeah.
I have kids, and truth be told is, anytime you could get some special time with your main squeeze, right? You don't want to share it with anyone. So I was honored to sit there, and because once again, you guys was there having a lovely time, and just say, hey, come on over.
Yeah, we could have
And
been having our romantic breakfast before crunching numbers.
that's what I mean. And so for me, I'm, just like I'm always open for a chance and opportunity. And I think that, that's just how, what's the saying? Or help me out with this one. I screw this one up
Let's see.
all the
I feel
time.
like we're playing a game now.
All right. What you do all the time is how you do every time, or something like that,
Oh,
because
yeah.
Yeah, because that goes with all of your life. So, now that you are open for opportunity who just want to eat breakfast with someone and just get to know someone is the same thing you do, I should say, in business settings,
Yeah.
right? In settings with your kids,
Yeah.
in settings with your parents, in settings with your husband, you know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
so once again, man, I just can't thank you enough. I mean, we talk about the craziest of ice cream and all types of food, and
Yeah. Ice cream's an important topic.
ice cream is a very important topic that we found out. You know what I mean? So, super
It is, and we realize that we have so much in common, especially with that whole. And you are totally going down that path that we share, and that is that mindset. Like, however
yes.
you are approaching something is absolutely going to direct the trajectory of what you're doing. Like, man, the can't is, there are four-letter words in the world.
Hmm.
Can't,
Can't.
luck, like those are really bad words.
Yes.
They're forbidden
Yes.
in my house, but I'm like, these things, like how you handle how you handle and approach life, exactly, man. I just want to like reiterate everything that you're saying, so I'm not going to do that because you said it so well.
But yeah, I mean, it is. So, I wake up every morning. Like, so I like to tell people that I don't live a light switch life. Okay. I don't wake up
Ooh.
in the morning and cut the light switch on and I'm just no, this thing here took work. So there you go. The luck work, bumble that up, throw it over the shoulder because every single day I'm pouring in something that is getting me to how I want to be, how I want my mindset to be, from what I read to the people I talk to,
Mm,
from the people I hang with, to even to things that I watch on television.
yeah.
I am very conscious on all those things because of the mindset. There's a way that I want to be. Therefore, I is my duty and my job, not anyone else's, to
Right.
put myself in position to have the right mindset, to be able to meet the Julies and Steves of the world, to be able to go to these events where I'm by myself and meet so many fantastic people, to be able to take a situation where, truth be told, is bad, and look at the positive ends of the stick, the lesson that is learned
Mm.
out of it. I always tell people this. I said, if we get into a car crash, I'm the person that sit there and say, "Yep, as long as at least we're alive." You know what I mean? So, so and
It
people
could be
just
worse.
it
we're,
can be
we're here.
worse. Exactly. So, mindset is so big, so huge, and I strongly tell people all the time that you got to wake up and tell yourself. I say affirmations every
Amen.
single morning. I even say them during the day when I feel as though I'm getting derailed. I use the word derailed because I use that word very, very, very carefully because that means that you could get right back on track.
Oh, I love it.
So yeah, so truth be told is I tell people all the time, life hits you directly and indirectly.
Right.
Example, right? An
Right.
indirect is that you wake up in the morning, ready to go, ready to rock and roll, and guess what? Your kids are sick as a dog. That you didn't sign
So
up for that.
true.
You didn't put in my script, on Thursday,
Hold on.
February the
I visualized it. Okay. I visualized my family having a happy breakfast, and it did not happen last
it
week.
did not happen. So that to me is a derailment,
Yep.
right? So you didn't it, you go to super mom mode, you go to super dad mode, and you go do your thing. And then once that thing is done and things is where you need to be, you get back on track. And
Love
that's where
it.
your affirmations comes in. That's where your goals comes in. That's where your vision comes in. That's where your plan comes in. And that's where the reminders. I mean, I go as far as I have four these smartphones, right? They cost a
I was
lot of
just
money.
gonna say I have
A
reminders.
ton of money. So I have reminders to review your goals
Hmm.
4 times a day because the day is long, regardless of what people say is short, it's long. And throughout the day, there are always things that's derailing you. And you have to have that reminder to come back I always tell people to write their goals down, to look at your goals so you can get back on that yellow brick road.
It's so easy to get derailed. I love that way of thinking because it's like it's a visual thinking, visual to me, but it's also like there's a lot of layers going on there.
Yes.
Those reminders are fantastic. So, I actually just did that for the first time ever last week. I'm apparently a late bloomer. And so, like, I put this on there and I noticed that when I was starting to have some problems that, just throughout the day, I get this reminder and it would just remind me of who I am and what I'm about. But then that also puts are you putting yourself out there to become who you want to be? Is like I have to know who I want to be. I have to know what I'm about. Like if I don't have an idea of if I'm just wandering like, aimlessly, then I don't have any reminders to put on my phone because I don't even know who I want to be. Like taking that time to find that clarity about who am I and what am I about is you can't go forward in life. A lot of people are just kind of stuck right now.
Big time, big time, big
It's
time. I tell people this. I host this Journey to Success calls every Monday nights, and this is one of the things that came up. And I said, listen, I said, when you go into a car, right, you have a destination. I don't know anyone that jumps into a vehicle and just go and just drive
where am I
with
going?
with with not a place to go. I said, so you have to treat your life that way. You should not wake up with not knowing what you're going to do today.
Amen.
So and people, it's like this. And I also say the light switch, the light bulb comes on. When I say that, light bulb pops on for people like, wow, you got a point there. When I get in the car, I do all the time. When I get in the vehicle, I have somewhere I'm going. But you should have the same thing with your life. I would actually appreciate if you just jumped in the car and drove around rather than not knowing where you're going with your life.
Oh, seriously. Like, somebody, I saw this little meme this week and it had to do with dreams and how quickly, people will quickly trade out one thing, but they won't do that for their dreams in life. And it's like, man, friends, your dreams are powerful and I don't, we have these dreams for a reason and they are there to, we get to leave our little part in the world. And I think those dreams actually can be that path to what you're going to be successful at, but you have to
Mhm.
get past that fear, that roadblock. And you are fantastic, like with your calls. By the way, I want to put a link. Can I put a link down everywhere so that people,
Oh
if they
yeah,
want
yeah,
to
yeah,
join your
yeah, yeah.
calls and
Absolutely.
everything?
Yes, yes, yes.
Your
hmm
class. How long
I
is
would
that? Can you
definitely send that
speak
to
a
you.
little bit about that? Because you're so fantastic with mindset and just helping people overcome. Like, oh man.
Yeah, not a problem. Not a problem. So we host these Journey to Success calls, and they're Monday nights, Eastern Standard Time, roughly around 9:30. I'm thinking about changing the time though. But so
For
what it
Pacific
is
people.
it's about roughly an hour long. A bunch of fantastic folks jump on, and so Journey to Success is this at the end of the day, right? I look at success as you building your house, right? So for you to build your house, you have to have what? A strong foundation, because if your foundation is weak, then you will build your house. But it's just in a matter of time, the house is going to start to come crumbling down. So the journey to success is teaching everyone how to have those strong fundamental foundational things put in place, right? The habits and all that good stuff
Yeah.
on putting that in place. So when you start to build your journey, your house, it will go up. You'll put your walls up. You'll put your bathrooms in, your bedrooms in. Everybody's journey is different, right? Some people want a 4 bedroom home. Some people want a 2 bedroom home. Some people want a 5 bedroom home and 3 car garage. So you got to have the foundation to support that, and that's what we teach on the Journey to Success course.
I love that. If that is something where you're realizing right now that, gosh, I really need to get a stronger foundation laid because maybe you've tried to build your dream and you've hit some roadblocks that have set you back and you're struggling to go forward, or you just want to start out on the right path, like you need to hop on with Leonard's program. Like it's fantastic. I already know that because like every time I'm around you, I'm just like, Oh my gosh. You can learn. You radiate just such a positive energy that just like, okay, we can do anything and be successful. And this is what is more endearing is that you're not just out here saying all these nice things and you're not just like smiling and happy. Like it radiates from your inside out.
Yes,
And then,
yes,
but you're living it. And like, folks, he's out there. So you're out there putting yourself and your time, your energy, and your money
yes.
and your
Mhm.
talent. You're putting all four resources. We have
Mhm.
those in our family. We talk about four resources. We'll say,
Mhm.
dude, you're depleting half of my resources right now, my time and my energy.
Mhm.
Please stop.
I
I
love
can't get
that.
them back. But you're putting yourself out there because you're creating this pathway so that people can learn about real estate investing, about
Yes.
investing in multifamily. And if you wouldn't mind, just talk to how you're using your thinking and how you
Mhm.
are wired.
Mhm.
You're so generous. Like,
Yeah.
I'll
Not a
just
problem.
shut up and let you go.
It's a wonderful thing. I mean, um, so I guess what I do is I start kind of at the end and trying to work my way back. So lately, what I have been doing is having some workshops, which they're absolutely free, and for really people that are beginners and people that kind of got their feet wet just a little bit and looking to really treat it as a business, right? So, I'm having these free workshops, which I have a couple already. The last few workshops, they were about 3 to 4 hours long. I mean, people was raving about it. I spoke for 3 to 4 hours, and it was absolutely free. To come, and I gave the entire game from the minute that you start all the way to the end till you get in the tenant. And I didn't leave anything out, shared it absolutely free. Had a few workshops. And currently, right now, I'm working with a space that I'm trying to get once a month where I'm going to have basically topic based real estate topics where, people absolutely free again, where people can come and once again just get that knowledge because truth be told is in real estate, it's something that's been around, we have to say, forever.
Right,
Right?
right.
and
As
and
long as land's
truthfully,
been around.
I cannot predict the future, but I'm going to say I think it's definitely going to be around some more generations after me. So, with that being said, this is just a way where you can have the opportunity to create some generational wealth, thinking more than just yourself, as well as have a little bit of fun,
Yeah.
where it helps out with things around. I mean, it helps out with some bills at the house. It helps out with some vacations you might want to take. It helps out with, our kids. They want to do all these things. They want to play football. They want to play basketball. They want to play, be on this team and soccer and hockey. And guess what? All those things take money. Like, I don't care any way, shape, or
Man.
form.
Especially
And
hockey.
especially hockey, traveling, and us as parents, we want to be super parents, right? And we want to make sure that we give our kids something that we never had, right?
Right.
And by doing that, we have to do some different things in our life, and real estate is just one of those things, because of the way that the multi-million ways that you can enter into real estate depending on your situation and thoughts, and it's just that it just the people just don't know. And
Right.
once people know and find out, they say, "Oh,
Oh, it's
that's
not
it?
that hard.
Wow, are you kidding me?" And I'm like,
Right.
"No, I'm not." Like,
Right.
it can really be, you can really be hands on with this thing, or you can really be hands off with
Yes.
this thing.
I like the whole
It,
hands off part of things too. I
it,
won't lie.
it just goes back, to what you said, knowing who you are,
Mhm.
right? As you said earlier, and knowing what you want, and you can really make some connections when you connect with the right people. Pick up a few books and educate yourself, and also make some networking contacts because it's nothing like networking because people do some fantastic things. It's so super smart in this world, and like I always say, I don't ever want to be the smartest person in the room. I want to be in the room with other smart people because that's how I'm going to learn and grow. And I also want to provide value, of course. But so that's really where I'm at right now with just providing people with that knowledge and packaging it up in a manner that is very simplistic because I got three principles that I think everybody should live their life. If you at your
I love
job, at your life period, right? So one of the principles is be accountable for your own actions, right? Another principle is what I just mentioned right now is simplify processes. The communication is the biggest thing in this world, in my opinion. And if you can simplify, something, that's super super duper impressive. So when you simplify something, any and everybody from an educational level can totally understand it. So with the workshop, I believe that I simplified it as much as I could. And with that being said, really anyone with a person that's testing off the charts 4.0 grade point average type individual, obviously they'll pick it up and get it right. Even a person who struggled in school should be able to pick it up and get it just with the pictures that I use, the choice of words,
it.
in the layout, and also the interaction with the questions for clarity. So
I love, and I'm just going to throw this out there because you are so modest, but he's like, this is completely free. Yes, it is absolutely completely free to anyone to go to his events and to join him,
mhm.
but he's putting everything into it and he's funding it and he's putting his time, his energy, his money, his talent, everything. He's backing this because he believes in people like you and you believe in everybody. Like you're just
Yes,
like you've got this. You can
yes,
do this.
yes,
I I
yes,
love that about you. There's
yes.
this
I mean,
there's this you're speaking to the broad range of this isn't a IQ test. Like real estate isn't about
yes.
how smart you are. And there's a person that in my sphere, and on the IQ scale, no one would lie. The person doesn't have the sharpest IQ, multimillionaire. you know,
There you go.
he figured out and he found a niche. It
Hmm.
happens to be mobile homes, and
Hmm.
he works it. And he
Hmm.
actually ended up creating a whole nother business to transport, like different modules around and everything. So,
Wow.
I mean, it doesn't matter. Like, I love this because you don't have to be a quote somebody to be
Correct.
successful at this. If you know what
Yep.
you're about, if you
Hmm.
believe it and you put, some mud on your boots, you can
Hmm.
be very successful. Very successful.
Totally agree. Totally agree. And it's about the action taking, and of course, having a system and a plan to follow, definitely help. But in this real estate, we mentioned about hands on or hands off, and I think that's where people really truly miss the boat. Where like you just hire people to handle all the work. You know what I mean? And like
You're like, why are you doing that?
right. Of course, it taps into, a little bit of the profit, but truth be told, you wasn't making that profit anyway. So if you just got your job, which, we all got jobs, right? And, you're sitting here, not receiving any other income. So if you receive any income, it's an addition. And so you should look at it from that respect, and also a peace of mind. Like, I love waking up feeling great. And my wife is so not a morning person, just to let you know. And my son, he's like a morning person when it's not school. So,
Oh, we
so,
got two of
so
those.
today he's a morning person. You know what I mean?
Yes.
School
Saturday
time, he's
morning, baby.
not a morning person. But and it's just, I mean, I'm sorry, Julie, I have so much just
No.
just
Oh
to, just to
gosh.
say, but it just sometimes, like when I really wanted to start this, what happened, let me tell you what happened.
Yeah.
My nephew, right, was in my house with me. We were um down just talking, communicating, and he just was like, onk, they call me onk, onk, um, I need more, I need more. What should I be doing? And I'm just like, so I start um saying, some things that I hate to use this word, assumed,
Sure.
right, that he just was aware of, right? So I'm just talking, blah blah, doing my thing, blah 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 blah. And all I see is just these deer in headlights.
Glazed over.
Yeah, and I'm
What are
like,
you talking
you don't
about?
know any of this stuff. He was like, no, and I was like, oh, so I did a test. So I manage a whole bunch of people at my 9 to 5, right?
Okay.
So my
Yeah,
smart
he's
people.
being really modest again. He's the boss.
At the job, smart people, I just start asking them the same questions, just out of kind of like, just like before meetings, while everybody gathering for meetings. I just be talking, I'm just asking questions, and I get deer in headlights, and I'm like, you know, these individuals are smart, you know what I mean? And I'm like, oh man, you know what? This is a opportunity for education here, and kind of sort of how the journey to success came about, as well as just building on to sit there, and because it was journey to success first. I didn't really think about teaching people really, because I was learning myself, right?
Right.
And then as kind of the journey to success came about, and obviously, people, you're talking and people know that you got some real estate, and they start asking you real estate questions. How do you start? So that's a big thing. How you start? How did you start? Like, what did you do? Boom, 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 boom. So I said, okay, everybody need to know how to start. And I just actually had this conversation with somebody, and for me, it was instinctive of knowing where to go,
Hmm.
and for some people, it's just not, which is okay. Which is, what I appreciate people is you go out and you find out, like, so they ask the questions, and I got a lot of those questions, and that kind of started me to put together this workshop. I actually did it first for my close family and friends, because those are people that you care for the most, right?
What
So,
wait, is this what you did? Was that at Thanksgiving or Christmas? Is that
well,
when it was?
yeah, well, that was like after, but
Okay.
like I had a small group of people that was asking me, so I kind of brought them to the house, and
Okay.
it wasn't nothing like now, like I got this whole blown out PowerPoint presentation, you know what I mean? It was more raw, like, hey, get your pen and pads out, let me just tell you guys, ask questions, and let's kind of go in, like, no structure, right? So fast forward in that story, every Christmas, my wife and we host Christmas at the house, and I have a huge family. My wife family extremely small. I have 9 brothers and sisters, just to give you an idea. So, and I'm the 10th kid, so I'm the youngest. So everybody's older than me, and so everybody comes over. And Christmas is a beautiful thing. Family, friends, and so on Christmas, this I felt the need that I needed to let everybody know, where I'm headed, right, and what I'm doing, and what I would like for everybody to participate in. And with the basically the multi-family speech I kind of gave is, I'm going to be getting some multifamily units, and I have to raise capital. And the first place that I really should raise capital is with the people that I love. And I kind of said much more than that, but that was really the gist and the topic of that. And in that, the most important thing for me to tell them was, I understand that everybody's in different stages of their life, and for the year 2020, if there is anything that I personally can do or help out with to help you boost wherever you're trying to do or trying to go, then I say I really need you to reach out to me, because I don't want anybody to miss out on this opportunity and opportunities, right?
Right.
Because if first opportunity comes once, and then you create the others, right? Because now you
Yeah.
understand the process. So, and I just don't want people to miss out, and I want people to be in position to do it. And if you're not, it's not like I didn't tell you, and it's not
Yeah.
like I didn't say I was going to help you. So that's kind of how that came out.
Oh, I love that. I absolutely love that. Well, we could talk forever. I'm pretty sure we could just
Absolutely.
talk on and on, because and it's not,
Mhm.
you know what, no, it's not just talking on and on, it's not talking, it is exchanging ideas and just
Wow.
furthering thoughts. So it's not just haphazard flippant like talking, but it's really just like, man, I mean, it is truly adding value and saying like, oh yeah, yep, that works, that does work, cheering people on. So it's not like a lost. I'm like, let me back up on that one. That's
Mhm.
not lost in words. It's a good set of words. But I have to hear this story because so we are recording this through Zoom, and it
Mhm.
comes up and it says, and down at the bottom everyone can see Lenny the
Oh.
Boss. And I think that we all have to hear the story about this.
Okay. Okay. So, all right. So let me see how can I bring this up. All right. So, um, I have a cousin, right, and he's doing pretty well for himself, and he has a entrepreneur, the most humble individual that you ever meet, right? And he's my cousin, so it's like I see him as my cousin. We talk as cousins, like we don't talk as like business people or anything like that. And he's growing his business, and I was down. He lives in North Carolina. He has one of his multi-million-dollar businesses. I'm going to say it's called Kindle Cash Flow, and it's basically teaching people how to publish books on Kindle and how to monetize that. So whole
Oh,
big thing,
nice.
and it's really fantastic. So he was looking to grow it, and there's two young entrepreneurs that he met and he introduced me to while I was down there. He resides in North Carolina. I go to North Carolina a lot, just to be with him because he gives me more of a lesson on life, like how to be with your family, how to
I'm
be
so
with your
sorry.
family. It's okay. How to be with your family as well as be make sure you take care of your business and also have a personal life of your own. So I go there to kind of feed off of that to say, okay, he's my model of what I want to be and become, because in my mind, not in his, but in my mind, he mastered it. Right. So
And you have
um
to have those role models. That's
yeah,
so awesome.
yeah, so I get that. Like, so we down there, and he introduced me to these two younger fellas, and they're like hungry. They're entrepreneurs. I don't know. They're in their young 20s, and they were basically in the same line of business that he was in, but obviously they were totally on two different scales, right? So,
Right, right.
so and so when we was talking, they are the ones that called me Lenny the Boss. So what happened is my cousin, he kind of introduced him like, oh, so my cousin does blah 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 blah. And I came down. We met like at this restaurant. I can't remember what the restaurant was. This really good one. And they was like, Lenny the Boss. And I'm like, 'cause I'm a humble guy. I'm like, yeah, Lenny.
Let's
That's
just
cool.
dial that back a few
Like Lenny,
notches, guys. Come
like
on.
my managers don't even call me boss. Like I don't, I just don't roll like that. Like when they call me boss, it's because they're mad at me or something like that. You know what I mean? Okay, boss. But like because I'm just not that type of person. I just like to be regular. I'm a regular person. We could do regular things, but it caught on. And like my cousin just said, Lenny the Boss. And next thing you know, my little cousin was there, and she was like, I like that Lenny the Boss. And she like, I was like, oh my god. And so it came about, and obviously he started doing business with the two young fellas, which are two fantastic individuals. He brought them into the business, and obviously, I'm working my way into the business as well. I could probably tell you a little more about that, but
Oh man,
um,
yeah.
so so yeah, and that just kept catching on, and like I'm on this text string in the morning with three other super um fantastic people. They're entrepreneurs as well, and one of the things we try to do is beat each other to wake up in the morning. The first person who can say good morning on the text, right? So sometimes some good mornings become like 4:30 a.m. in the morning, like good morning. I'm like, dude, you're not up. You just faking it. And so and they start joking around, saying, "Oh, Lenny the Boss, I mean, that's a really cool name. You should really tag that, like,
Use that
'cause
as
they're
your
like brand
branding.
experts." Yeah, they're like, you should really tag that. I'm like, yeah, I'm not really trying to tag Lenny the Boss. Like, come on. And then, I'm bumping some toes. I call it bumping toes with my wife, right? And I'm talking about it like one day, and she like, yeah, Lenny the Boss is pretty cool. And then I ran it past like my brother, and like my brother, he's like the he swears he's like the king of the family,
Right.
and he like, hey, Lenny the Boss, I like that, Lenny the Boss.
Oh,
And
everybody
that's
gave you
so
the
now,
approval.
yeah, it was less like, and then that's how it all kind of started to come about. So really, truth be told, is I'm just starting to brand Lenny the Boss now. So now I'm starting to change like all my everything to put, because I always like my name, Leonard Nesmith. Like I like it. Like it's a cool name in my
It's a
opinion.
good
Thanks,
name.
mom and dad.
Right.
But now it's like now I gotta put Lenny the Boss in the middle of it. So I'm slowly changing things over and
You
branding
need
it.
a
So you might
mug. You have
I
to
need
have
a
a. You seriously, it'll cost you like $2 online. I'll buy one. I'm like, I will buy a Lenny the Boss mug. I'll support you.
sweet.
You know,
All
okay.
right, I got you a camera.
I know everybody saw this. I'm on camera. I'm on
Awesome.
the
I'm a
podcast. So here's what I love about this is one, I absolutely love how it came about because I know how humble you are and that you wouldn't be like, yeah, man, I'm the boss. I'm like, the bomb diggity and all that. Like, you're not that kind of person, but it has like this really happy, fun, spunky story. And so like every time you say Lenny the Boss, seems like it just produced like joy.
yeah.
Like, oh my gosh, all these people love me, all these people are behind me, and I can go conquer the world, which
Mhm.
you are already doing. So like
No.
that is awesome.
I'm just putting some energy out here that is positive, and I just wanted to come back, and I want to touch as many people's life. So I used to do this thing, which I really need to go back to, just after I just changed my morning routine. But 6:30 a.m. every morning, I used to go on for I call it Good Morning Positive Vibes, and I went on every morning for probably about 30 to 40 minutes, just live, on
Yeah.
Facebook. I dropped them down to YouTube, and I used to just go live and just tell everybody, basically kind of the things that we're talking about today. And I used to have it kind of like a topic base, and talk about, a topic. And but I always used to have a saying, and that was my saying, kind of the derailment thing, the reminder thing, and I always used to say this: if I touch one person's life
Mhm.
or 100,000 people plus, that means that I was successful with my Good Morning Positive Vibes today. Because
Amen.
that's all that I want to do, is just be able to sit there and give someone else a different point of view where they can help themselves and their families. And I think by doing that, um, in this crazy world that we live in, I think that things can be much better just for them, and they can understand that some things are really not that serious. When you sit back and you really give thought to the things that's going on in this world, as well as just going on in your personal life.
Right.
And I think that the clarity starts to come in when you really start to sit those stupid, crazy things to the side and see what is the value of your life, and start to focus on that. And that's when people start to the little frown start to turn
Turn that
into a smile,
frown upside down.
because you're now focusing on things that are important, and focusing on things that are meaningful, impactful, and all those things just start to express. And I tell people, I say, listen, when you change your life because it's important that you do, the people that don't belong in your life will start to back up, because
It's so
the
true.
the energy that you're giving out does not match theirs anymore. So in some cases you have to push some people out your life, like that's a must. And
Yeah.
then in other cases, some people will fall off, and don't be afraid. I said, because when those other people fall off, you're just opening up opportunity for someone to come in with the energy that you're looking for. And how crazy this world is, somehow, some way, as you pump energy in it, that sucker pump energy back,
It
and it works like that, man. It really, really, really works like
It really does. I don't know if you're familiar with Damien Lupo at all. He runs EQRP, which is a whole different conversation for investors, which is really important.
that.
But he is also very much into personal development, and he's rolled out this program for peak training. And yeah, and he's been doing these webinars once a month, and this month he was like, there are crabs. So kind of addressing those people that you're talking about, like there are the energy suckers in your life, and sometimes you're trying to get you recognize that and you realize I need to have some distance from this person because they're just wanting to keep me down. And so he was talking about when people go crabbing, how the crabs are
Love
always
crab.
trying to
Yeah.
grab, and I've never been crabbing before, but I can.
You have to go.
Oh my gosh, I got to. So, but he was saying the crabs will try to pull things down into with them, and he's like, man, if you got to get away from the crabs in your life that want to just pull you down and keep you down at their level, because you have places to go and important things to do. And if people want to stay down in the mucky muck, man, you don't have to. It makes me sad. He said you can cut a window and just look in and say hi to the ones that you love, like the family. You might have family that is trying to hold you down. Just cut a window and just look in and talk through the window.
Yeah, no, it's the truth. I mean, I preach it all the time, and it's tough. Like it's not easy to say, "Wow, this person that I actually love, I have to stop communicating with after I was communicating with this individual for 10, 12, 15, 20, 30 years." And the answer is yes. And that's a very, very, very challenging thing to do. And it's hard, but for your personal development and for where you want to go with your life, there are tough decisions that's required. And you have to make some of those tough decisions to get to where you're trying to go.
You do. On a bright now note, everyone can be successful. You put yourself to it. You put yourself out there. And I loved your accountability, be accountable, simplify your process. And what was the third on your list?
Okay. So you have simplify, your process, be accountable for your own actions, right? And the next one is you're stumping me here.
I'm so sorry.
Is hold on, let me get it right. So you got successful, be simplify processes. My apologies. Be accountable for your own actions, right? And the third one is take action.
There we go.
Because words are great. Speeches are fantastic, rah-rahs and all that stuff. But truth be told is, the the money is made, or the bread is made, or however you want to call it, is made by the actions that you take. So you got to take action as the leader, because also when people are looking for what are you doing, you have to be an action taker. So
not saying.
I follow. Correct. I follow the two things. I talk about the 3 C's and the 3 A's, and and I put this in just about any and every presentation that I do. Is in my real estate workshop. Is in some of the Journey to Success calls. And the 3 C's I tell everybody have to remember is be clear, 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 right? And the 3 A's, I'm sure you can guess, is action, action, action. So if you can follow those two things, then I think that you will be extremely happy with what you want to do as a person. Is if you're clear on it and you take action to it. That's the two things. So I love everything else that falls into it, the simplified processes and be accountable, blah, blah, blah. But it's two things: clarity and action.
I'm going to add in front of action. I just have to throw it out there. Take massive action.
Boom! Boom! There you go. And that's the truth, because I also tell this story, like the first time I saved money, right? Like I actually put a plan in place. I was making some decent money, not like for my age. That's what I'm going to say. So I had a plan to save $14,000. Now I never had $14,000 ever in my life. And I'm like, I'm going to save $14,000, and this is how I'm going to save it. I'm going to say, okay, in a year, right? I'm gonna 14,000. So I'm gonna divide that by 12, and then I'm gonna divide that by 2 because I get paid every 2 weeks, and this is where I'm gonna put up a paycheck. So I'm doing it. And actually, this is in one of my goal settings classes that I do too, and I do some other things I might mention that too. And so I'm saving. So the year came, the date came, and I count my pennies right in the bank, and guess what? I came short of the $14,000. So I got this picture, right, of this guy with his head down like this, right? But then the next slide, I got a picture like this. I said, because guess what? I saved $9,000. I never had $9,000 before in my life. So
on the positive.
right, because I took massive action to
Mhm.
save, is a stretch goal, right? Because
Right.
it was a lot to do that. But I wound up having $9,000 in my bank account. Well, guess what? What if I didn't set any goals at all? In that whole year, how much money would I had in my bank account?
Yeah.
Zero. And so that's why I say I showed the next picture that the guy is like happy, because at the end of the day, it was a stretch goal. And I have something that I never had before because I have goals.
And you
And that
took
was the
action.
whole gist and the point behind that. So yeah, the massive action thing is extremely important to have stretch goals. Absolutely.
Oh my gosh. I am sure everyone is like, if you don't understand why, we just like absolutely said like, oh my gosh, we're so grateful Leonard's in our life. But now I'm just like, everybody needs a Leonard the Boss in their life. Everybody. I am so
No.
grateful that you just joined me for this. It's been so much fun. And I'm going to drop all sorts of information for all the listeners wherever you are. So make sure that you go and visit Lenny the Boss everywhere he is. And, like subscribe to his things, because you can obviously see it doesn't matter what you're trying to accomplish. If you're not clear and if you don't know how to take action, you're going to be at zero. So today's your day. Like, surround yourself with people, subscribe and follow people like Lenny the Boss. I'm sorry, we have a friend that's a Leonard, and we call her. She has a different name, but we call her Lenny. And I'm like, now I'm shortening your thing. I'm like, even though, I'm like, their last name is Leonard. So I have lots of fun stories there. All that to say, make sure that you go show love his direction, because you can see that energy, that zest for life, and that willingness to just pour into other people. Just everybody that he comes across, he's just touching them with gold. So go out there, and you know what, everybody, go find your freedom.
Thanks so much for joining me for another episode of Ask Me How I Know. My guests are the most humble successes, so be sure to show them your appreciation by rating this episode 5 stars, which sounds silly, but let's be real. Ratings, likes, and shares, they take no time at all, but make all the difference in the world, if only to boost morale. Also, since I don't spend time on the how and why they got into investing, be sure to check out the show notes to get to know more about today's guests, including other podcasts they've been on that has a more traditional format that will give other details about their investment journey. It'll also tell you things like the most influential person in their life and what they're reading right now, as well as how to connect with them. And please, subscribe and rate Ask Me How I Know so it reaches other listeners like you. Until next time, go find your freedom.